What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. This one's a good one. I've been waiting a little while to make this video. It's all about LMGs and their recent changes. I've got all of the stats together. It's going to be a math deep video. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. You guys have been amazing with the subs recently. Thank you. Let's get straight into it. Right, so the gun in question that we're going to be talking about is the Tabulosa Rasa, but not just the named variant. We're also going to talk about the L86 as well. Both really nice guns. This one I would run with fast hands, and you can run the named variant if you fancy some perfect steady handed as well. But I digress. Let's flip over first of all to the patch notes so we can see exactly what happened in TU20 when it comes to LMGs. So let's look at the LMGs here. And we can see here that we got a 20% weapon damage buff, which brought them absolutely out of the darkness and into the light. Because, you know, assault rifles were so far ahead with damage, and they don't have a suppress mechanic. All of a sudden now we still have the suppress mechanic, which can definitely slow down gameplay, and the Division 2 right now is all about fast, speedy RPM gameplay. The LMGs just didn't really fit, but now they've had this huge weapon damage boost. Does that mean that we should be using them? And the L86 acts very much like an assault rifle. Like, it has a decent RPM, it has a lower mag, and you know it's very different to other LMGs. You know, just like the new reliable, which we're going to cover in another video as well. You know, they're not like your pestilences that didn't even get a buff this season, but it's still really good. They're not like your M60s, your Negebs and things like that. So let's take a look at them and see what they're going to be like. And already you can see, you know, look at the 164k damage on this thing. It's got 50 bullets in. It's got quite a decent RPM. Like, already it looks like it's going to be crazy. But there are a couple of things we really do need to talk about. And before we get into the build and, you know, show some gameplay footage of this running, it's this bottom attribute here. Now, for such a long time with the Division 2, aside from maybe the odd very specific skill build, because the bottom attributes of DTA and, you know, damage to health have an effect on certain skills in different ways, it's always just been a given that no matter what gun we run, that we will run in the bottom slot damage to target out of cover. Now, with an LMG, that is a little bit different because we get that natively here in the second attribute slot. So with LMGs, it's always just kind of been said, well, all right, then with LMGs, the next best thing would generally be damage to armor, unless you were doing something very, you know, health specific. Maybe you would think about doing certain fights in raids, or you were doing, you know, invaded stuff where you had a lot of dogs and chungas and things like that, and you wanted to kind of set yourself up for damage to health only. You would put damage to health there as well. You certainly never would put critical hit chance, rate of fire, and or any, you know, anything else that we can put in the magazine size. And this is where actually now this actually does differ. What we should put in there is either critical hit chance or rate of fire, kind of depending on how you like to play. And I'm going to just very quickly show you some stats on why we should do that, and it relates very highly to this gun that I recently did a video on, saying that this gun is absolutely amazing. Now you can see the 400 you know, the 142k, you know, damage that this thing's doing with the build I've got on right now. But like I said in that video, and like I'll say in this video, this capacitor was really good against armored targets. The minute you weren't fighting an armored target, it would fall off. So, you know, Countdown being a great situation for the capacitor, because everything is a high-end armored target in there pretty much, you know. So definitely situational, and it's definitely outstanding, but again, situational. So let's go back to the L86, or in this case we're going to use the Rasa as my demo for this right now, because I can change this bottom slot. And I'm going to pull up a huge stat page that we are going to go through just kind of quickly. There's 3 sets of stats on. I'll throw it up there now so that you can see, and I'll kind of show you my reasoning behind what I've come up with. So the first one at the top is, so basically I put damage to armor on this bottom slot, and I built the build the best I possibly could with the gear I kind of had available anyway. to get to as close to 60% crit chance, and then as much critical hit damage as possible. Although I am using the Coyote's mask, I didn't want to have to depend on that in any way. Totally up to you how you flavor these builds up. If you want to drop a little bit of critical hit chance because you want to say, you know, I'm fine, I'm going to be playing at the 15 to 25 meter marker, I know I'm going to get that 10%, I'm all good. Totally up to you. But I wanted to kind of do this testing, not having to rely on the critical hit chance from the mask. Yes, I'll take the critical hit damage from it, but not the mask. So all of these stats that you're going to see here now are done pretending that we are at 0 to 50 meters with 25% critical hit damage. So that's all that cleared up. Right, so here's the stats. And as you can see at the top, 59% critical hit chance, 117% critical hit damage, and 8% DTA. Looks absolutely great. Looks fan-dabby-dozy. We like the look of it. Here we can see the total DPS. The burst damages at the top, the 14.4 for health, and the 15.6 for armor. And they're to heads. Great. Looks absolutely fantastic. But what we then have to kind of consider is that the second row of stats below is exactly the same build. Nothing has changed, apart from I have removed the 8% DTA. And what that then does, it causes a 7.7% damage loss that you are not getting anymore if you're hitting a health target. Now, that's quite a substantial damage loss. And when you think about it, we don't necessarily come across that every day when we are using an assault rifle. So for instance, with an assault rifle, we have health damage built in. We have damage to target out of cover. Generally, these are the two that you would take in this order, but you have to take the health damage. You know, so we put damage to target out of cover in the bottom. We're kind of covered for all bases with an assault rifle. And that's why they've always been, you know, for a long time now, really, really good and really, really nice. So there's that to think about. And if we're thinking about moving to using LMGs more because they're more powerful, we don't really want to lose out on that versatility, especially if it's going to be 7.7%. That's quite a lot, and you can see the numbers drop, and that's just off one bad guy. You think about that across an entire mission, that number of missed damage at 7% is going to get absolutely huge. So we have to think about building things potentially a different way where we're not going to be affected by that. And that's where the bottom set comes in. You can see it's 0.5% crit chance less, which is, you know, not a big deal. And the reason for that is that the bottom attribute on guns is 9.5%. So we would, you know, I can go to this gun now. I don't have to use the Rasa as an example anymore. But because I want to run fast hands. But you can see here 9.5% critical hit chance. Great. And then we can build that up then to hit a huge 144% critical hit damage. Now, when you look at these stats now, you can say actually the total burst DPS is actually a little bit less than the one at the top. But the health DPS maintains. They're identical. Whether I'm hitting health or I'm hitting armor on this build, everything is great. It's totally sustained at all times. I never miss out. I don't have to worry about that 7% drop in damage at any given point, no matter what I'm hitting. And in the end, that is going to win out. They look like very, very small numbers, but across a whole mission, or across, you know, when you're fighting something that has a substantial amount of health, a dog, for instance, or a mini tank, you're really going to feel the difference, and you're really going to make it much, much harder for yourself for no real reason when you don't really have to do that. So you can see here on the build, it's just a strikers build. I know we're all fed up with them, but you know, this is really the way that I would spec this out and how I would play it. Now, absolutely, like I said before, if you wanted to lower the critical hit chance here, because you want to, you know, depending on how you play, you can lower that a bit, and you can say I'm playing at 15 to 25 meters and I'll take advantage of this. Totally up to you. I'm just a very much a stack to the cap kind of guy, and you know, that's kind of how I spec this out. So you could have, you know, in the 50s or maybe even the 60s with critical hit damage, and maybe 50% critical hit chance here as well. So we've got no armor damage, and we're not reliant on anything like that either. But we know no matter what we hit now, we don't have to be reliant on any DTA, and we don't have to be reliant on any damage to health, which makes this absolutely brilliant. So if you want to look at the mods on the gun, crit chance, the rounds, and critical hit chance and critical hit chance with the awesome bang skin on, that's actually a universal skin. We've got the Coyote's mask with crit chance, crit damage, and we've got the pack instinct talent that we've talked about already. I'm then able to use a critical hit damage Umbra chest piece for 15% from the brand set bonus, weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage with obliterate, which is great. And then just strikers for the rest, which is the big, you know, I know everyone yawns about this, but we get weapon handling, helps with the reload, we get rate of fire, and then we get strikers gamble with the backpack bonus, weapon damage, critical hit damage in the mod slot. Then with the gloves, weapon damage, critical hit chance. With the knees, weapon damage, critical hit damage. And with the holster, weapon damage, critical hit chance. And just feel, you know, that could be quite easily swapped around. I could roll that to critical hit damage, you know, and put a critical hit chance mod in instead. You can spec that out however you want. I use these pieces for a variety of builds, and it's just what I've got. So as long as you're, you know, you're getting up into the 50s to where you're actually comfortable that you're good with your Coyote's mask, then you are all good. And I'm spec'd for potentially the worst case scenario, which is probably the best way to show you guys anyway in the video. So after such a very long-winded explanation, we'll go and do a little bit of gameplay. So at this point, if you're happy with what you've seen, feel free to tune out, but don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. And what we'll do is we'll do the invaded. We might as well do the invaded because that's actually going to show a good example of when we hit up some health enemies as well, and how the damage with this build just doesn't drop off. But we are going to have to play slightly different. We can't just bob along with our shield. And what's crazy good about this gun is that it's super accurate, especially with the weapon handling bonus that we get from strikers. Oh, we tagged his grenade and killed his mate. Brilliant.
Going in.
And as you can see, it just plays really nice. But there's definitely more of a use case scenario for using these now, which is kind of nice, right? It's kind of, some of the balancing's a bit way here with this patch, but LMGs getting this buff, you know, technically should put them ahead of assault rifles. It's just the suppressed mechanic that can be, you know, not very nice at all, because you're not doing any DPS if anything's in cover.
Outside the bunker entrance.
But you see, the thing is, you know, if you were using the regular DTA version, so much of this would be slower because of the red bars that we're fighting here now. And I think there's a dog in the next room, so we'll at least... Oh, is there a tank here? A mini tank? And it absolutely shredded the mini tank. Made light work of that thing. Didn't even get a chance to get repaired. And, you know, and obviously we just got to think about, you know, are we killing these guys quick enough? You know, are we causing that there where it says suppressed? I didn't have a good angle on him, so he did manage to get into cover. But is that suppressed mechanic annoying you? Is it slowing your whole game down? And I've got to say, as of right now, it really doesn't feel like to me that it is. I feel like I'm putting out some really good damage. My striker stacks are about half at the moment. We could think about putting on a shotty if we felt like we needed to get them strikers up a little bit quicker as the secondary weapon. You know, and this examples here of there. So actually, is this going to get annoying?
Take a look at what they've been pulling from the wreckage.
But it just seems to, it just shreds. It just puts the work in, does the damage. We'll do one more room before we end the video because the video is already really long. I put some right chatter at the beginning. Oh, forgot they come behind me now. You see, things like that just seem to die really quickly. For an LMG, the reload certainly isn't disgusting. And you could run this, you know, a variety of ways. You could stick some health on kill, armor on kill, you know, all that other good stuff on. If you wanted to. This is a good mission to pick actually, because there is some awkward situations where they would get in cover like up there. But it absolutely murders the red bars. Makes really short work of them. Whoa, Mr. Chunga. Some big deeps there. And we only got halfway through our striker stacks there as well. This is annoying. I hate this part of this mission. It's really not fun. Might put him suppressed with 1% life as we needed to reload. Where's he off? Hi. Can I get him with this up here? No.
Enemy engaged.
Great, used to getting rid of the mini tank. That would be so awkward. So awkward with the other build.
Assistance needed.
Actually hitting us, I think it is. A little bit. Still more left. Where is he hiding? Hi. Where are you? Well, we're going to end the video there because this guy doesn't want to show his face. Is he there then? We got him. We're going to end the video there. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Here is the build again. Here is the stats again. Pause the video here if you want to see them in more detail for longer. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly think it gives us a really good insight into how good LMGs are right now. Let me know what you think. Are you using any of these LMGs? Have they, you know, tickled your fancy since the patch went live? Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. If we could get this to 300 likes, that would be absolutely amazing. It really does do me a huge favour and the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, agents. Goodbye.